Cold. I started to say January morning. It feels like January morning, doesn't it? March morning. March. I'd like to begin this meeting with a word of prayer. And if we can please remember the people in Lee County and the heartbreak, hardships that they're going through. And whatever assistance that we have, we would like to be able to send to them. Let's pray. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank Thee for these assembled here today to do Your work. Dear Lord, thank You for the fellowship that we have and the camaraderie that we share. Dear Lord, please be with people in Lee County, Alabama. Touch them, heal them, give them Your guidance and Your grace as they move forward from these trying times. Dear Lord, help us to do the business of the county and to do it to the benefit of the citizens of Jefferson County and to Thy good works. Dear Lord, we ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Light agenda today. Very, very, very light agenda. Let's go back forward. Mr. Ammons,
yes, sir.
I see you have an item or so that you need to present.
Yes, I do have an item.
You do?
Yes, sir. Or I got an
It's a new item you'd like to present.
I did. I delivered to each of your offices yesterday. Gestamp is expanding their current facility. It's listed or shown up there on the map. And it's borders Old Tuscaloosa Highway. They have purchased the property from JCIDA where the executive center was, the house that was used as an executive center, and they're going to expand. It's going to be 134,000 square foot expansion with about $72 million in capital investment, and will expand about 50 to 60 jobs. They're requesting 10 years of abatements from the time that the property of non-educational ad valorem.
Is that the 1 cent?
Yes, and of course property tax. That is from October 1st, from the date that they purchase it. They purchased this property in 2000, and about 3 to 4 years ago. So that's on the way. And with the expansion, they will also be buying new equipment and redesigning, planning for 5 years out on having more auto manufacturers that they supply to. So it's a great hit from us. So I'd ask that this be added to the agenda.
I move it.
Second.
All right, it's been moved second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Very good, thank you.
They ever moved the dirt? The big pile of dirt?
They're in the process.
Yeah, they're doing that. I'm getting all kinds of complaints.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
I think this is the second or third time he has brought something in at the last minute. I just want to make sure that we all have the same courtesy if we do it.
Sure.
It would be accepted.
Well, and I apologize for it being late.
This being is a time-sensitive item that they're working now.
Yes,
And
and it had to
that's
go
not,
through.
well, when you bring something like this, I guarantee you will
I
approve it.
just want to make sure.
Secondly, it's more of information where Birmingham has had the great pleasure of having on American Idol Bo Bice, Reuben Studdard, and Taylor Hicks. We now have Walker Burroughs, who is a Vestavia resident and is graduated with my son and was in band with my daughter. And so when you see and you get to vote, make sure you vote for Walker Burroughs every time.
All right.
And
Yeah,
last,
you would never expect, I saw a little bit the other night
Uh-huh.
of that kid, I'm like, wow, in the way he plays the piano
Yeah.
and sings, you would never expect it out of just looking at him.
yeah.
But
Well,
that was very good.
he plays that role. He not only sings well, but he was also an actor and
I see.
did in musicals. So you could kind of see some of that in him. So we're awful proud that Birmingham and Jefferson County gets to represent her on a national stage yet again. And then I'd also like to take the opportunity to introduce one of my new staff members, Faith Murphy. Faith is an Auburn graduate.
War Eagle.
Thank you.
That's strike one.
That's what I said, Joe.
Faith was also participated on the SGA at Auburn, and we know she'll be a great asset to the county and economic development.
Faith,
Thank you.
what's her last name?
Murphy, M-U-R-P-H-R-E-E.
Perfect.
And that ends my report, Mr.
Any kin to Jim Murphy?
Well, that my husband might be, but I'm not too certain.
Zach, she's married.
All right, Commissioner Knight.
All right, let's see what we got here.
God bless you, Zach. Things you have to put up with.
Finance. Mr. John Henry, you ready?
Commissioners, good morning.
Good morning.
What you have in front of you is our normal items, our usual demand, our purchasing agenda, our section report, our encumbrance report. What you also have is 2 budget amendments. We are transferring about $120,000 from HR to family court, so family court could hire as fast as possible for probation officers, for additional probation officers. They're in dire straits. And then we are also transferring from the county attorney's office to youth detention, $50,000. So youth detention can add the addition of 2 padded cells that they're in need of. So we graciously thank the county attorney's office and our Office of Human Resources for allowing us to allocate these funds so they can be used in a more expeditious and purposeful manner.
I move the items, please, finance and BMO.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Developmental Services, we have a resolution of acknowledgement, Z 2017-017.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is again just a case that was approved last year. Covenants were finally filed after working out some survey land issues. But again, this is just to make you aware that the zoning actually changed.
Move it.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Barry, you have anything? I know you got something pending out there on the change of a venue.
I'm working on some things and some stuff on Center yesterday.
Right.
I'll have a meeting Wednesday.
Okay. District Attorney salary agreement. Crook. Anybody from the DA's office here? Okay, I'd ask for a motion to, this is a resolution authorizing the annual compensation for Birmingham Bessemer for deputy district attorneys.
I'll move.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I have a community grant, City of Pinson, to assist in the purchase of equipment furnishings for Pinson Public Library in the amount of $2,500.
Move the item.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Have a resolution to appoint Mr. Robert Pritchard Jr. to Centerpoint Fire District Board of Trustees to fill the remainder of Mr. Joe Hernan.
Move the item. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Mr. St. John, would you give us a little bit of an update on the EMA?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Ammons had asked us to speak to the situation in Lee County and how we might help. One of the principles in emergency management, especially with relation to disasters such as they've experienced, is that the right help is needed at the right time. We've gotten a lot of requests or questions from emergency responders in the Jefferson County area. We should be proud of the responders that we have because they're ready to step forward. We only respond to requests from Lee County for help. This morning they've called and said that they're outmatched and that they need help, and we're going to be watching for requests that would come to the state EMA for us to be able to go and provide assistance to them in the form of emergency management officers. They haven't asked for any other help as we all know, one of the big things is debris removal at an event like this. And I wouldn't be surprised to see reaching out through the State Emergency Management Agency in Jefferson County for some of that sort of help in the future, but we haven't received a request yet. All that we've received is sort of a warning order that we need to, that we might need to go help them with the skill sets of the emergency management officer can bring. So we're ready to go help them. I talked with Jim, he's out of the state this morning through Thursday morning, but we'll be ready to help them out as much as possible. Appreciate that page. Remembering them and their crews. They're still finding bodies down there. A lot of the missing are family members of the people who were under the deceased. So that's not very helpful situation, but we will help them as much as possible, and we'll be communicating to county departments if we receive a request for assistance in the form of public works or something. I'd be happy to answer your questions.
And Chris Tate of the EMA was he the director at Lee County? I know he came from the EMA in Lee County, and I think he's going to go down there, right?
He was an emergency management officer in Lee County for about 10 years. So he knows the ground, he knows the people that work down there, he knows the resources that they have and what they might need. And I'd say that Chris is probably going to be the first one out the door from us if we do receive that formal request for assistance. So he's a great asset, a great generalist in emergency management, and understands all the different aspects of what being facing.
Birmingham Waterworks.
And Birmingham Waterworks, can you give us a brief update on that?
Yes, sir.
Chemical spill.
The Birmingham Waterworks has a process where they add ferrous sulfide to water. It causes solids to fall out of the water, and then liquid chlorine is added after that to help in purifying the water. A worker got that process mixed up and added the chlorine upstream with ferrous sulfide, and that caused an off gas. We never had very high values outside of the building that was contained to. But what the net effect is it stopped the ability of them to receive water into the treatment facility. And had about 25 million gallons that was ready to go out into the community, but they couldn't treat anymore after that. It take a report from the Waterworks Board to really say if they're back up and running at 100%, but I do know that the building's been cleared so that they can go back to work there now. We were out there for about 4 hours last Wednesday, and the gas never reached a level that was dangerous to the public. It was dangerous within that building, and that's where all those 55 casualties came from, was from within that building.
Do we have a report on the casualties at this time?
No, they were all minor, except for one, the worker who actually put the chemicals in out of order, and I haven't heard anything else. I wouldn't expect that we would get a medical report back on it.
Okay. And it's kind of ironic that Mr. Coker is in Washington, D.C. at the National First Responders Conference.
It's the Association of Emergency Managers has an annual trip up to meet with the legislative delegation from each of their states.
Wow.
He's meeting with our legislative delegation for Washington this week. And he did have the part of getting a message through is having the right framework presented in. He's had two great experiences in that, because I'll tell you, having been in emergency services for a long time, 55 casualties is, well, it made national news, as you saw. It's a national event.
Hey, Joe, if I may.
Yeah.
It's also just ironic that the same day that we had that event in the morning, they were having a conference over at Sanford University specific to chlorine gas catastrophic events.
Yeah, so they were preparing for exercise that's upcoming at Sanford, and they were using for their scenario a chlorine release. And that chlorine release that they're working with is gas. They stopped using gas about 3 years ago at the Waterworks to prevent having a chlorine release, but they weren't anticipating having these chemicals that turn together to form chlorine gas.
Wow. Thank you, sir. Any questions from Mr. Joseph? John? All right, general services, we have American Facility Service, Inc. for janitorial services contract amendment.
Yes, sir. So we have two amendments that extend these two contracts for 3 months. They were bid. We had a delay in the award process 3 years ago, so we wanted to add these 3 months on into the contracts to make the full 36-month term.
Move the items.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 General Retirement System of Jefferson County, who's gonna take that? Resolution authorizing military service contributions.
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I'd like to do an emergency community grant to the Red Cross in the amount of $5,000 to send to Lee County for the purpose of temporary housing for these people who've been displaced,
Hold on,
if I may.
Mr. Chief. So let me ask this question, John Henry. If we're talking about emergency, can we also contribute to this as well?
Yes.
I'm talking about in this meeting?
Yes.
All right. So then we'll match it by 5.
I'll do the same.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye?
For a $15,000 emergency grant for the housing to specify, because that's what these people need, because from what I understand, right now they've got supplies, they're overloaded with supplies, but in these instances, these people have to have a place to go and live, so thank you very much. In my report. Would you just
We have the Administrative and Infrastructure Committee, we have Roads and Transportation. Tracy, you want to do it, you want me to do it? We have Grants Mill Corridor Geotechnical Services. We have roadway services from Jew Hollow Road and Gardendale, Joe. And we have our purchase stream credits for the Morgan Road project from the Cahaba River Mitigation Bank.
A question
Sure.
on Grants Mill. Which
section?
which study? Yeah, which section are we talking about?
It is from the section at I-459, it's just, it's past the auto mall, but it's from 459 to Old Beach Road. So up where Eto.
Okay, so it's going 459
Okay.
up the
Yeah,
hill.
it's the 2-lane
Gotcha.
section and the steep section, and this is the geotechnical services, because obviously that's a steep section will require earthwork.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's the one we're going 4 lane.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
All right.
Move it.
And
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we got one more.
right.
I understand, we got one more. We need to add the Morgan Road utility
I'm not moving that one, I'm moving.
relocation with Aldott.
yes, sir. We respectfully request have that added to the committee agenda as well.
Okay. That's because it's time sensitive.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Move items 1 through 4.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. We have 2 sets of minutes. One from the meeting of February the 7th and the other for 21st from the county attorney's office. We need to send to the commission agenda.
Mr. President, before we move on these 2 items, can the county attorney also give us an update as it relates to the sewer litigation that was pending Supreme Court ruling? Huh?
It's over.
No, I just want,
Well,
you ready to do it
Yes.
later on in your report?
I
I'll
we
wait.
do this and then I was gonna ask you for comments after
Yeah,
that.
because we
But you
wait
go
on our
ahead.
town hall meeting. so-
Yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yesterday at approximately 8:34, the Supreme Court denied the writ of certiorari in that case. And so, that being said, the plaintiff would have 25 days from yesterday to ask for reconsideration. That reconsideration generally would have to be something catastrophic or something that is not foreseen before. So basically, that litigation is over, so hopefully we can move forward with our distributions and our plan.
Okay. So the next, besides her meeting, the next,
commission meeting.
the next thing would be the distribution of the $5 million pot of money
That's correct.
That's designed for the credit.
That's correct.
And
Unsecured.
unsecured credit. So,
Right.
once that is done, that goes back, that Judge Bennett will do that, correct?
That is correct.
So, once that's done, that entire
We're over.
case will be over.
That's correct.
That's a good report,
So,
thank you very much.
Mr. President, so while we're at that, just for the record, if Mr. County Attorney can also say when it would be plausible for us to be able to have our town hall meeting, since apparently we can be able to move forward, but I think that the general public needs to know when we can move forward on that so we can begin planning properly.
It'll be about
20
July
20.
25.
25 days from yesterday would be the complete and absolute end of this litigation. Anticipated.
And while we're on that, this is something that we need to discuss, and this would be an open deliberation, what we're working on now. If, through our meeting yesterday with our legislators, we felt that it was important that we remain the course, because what we had done is that we had improved our credit rating. Now, John Henry, I'm gonna ask you to speak to this. We had just received an affirmation of our Standard & Poor's credit rating on our sales tax, am I correct?
Correct.
Yesterday.
On the limited
Yes,
obligation.
yesterday Standard & Poor's released a report in reference to Jefferson County and its refunding warrants. Standard & Poor's has revised the rating criteria for limited obligation debt, and what the revised criteria says is that they look at they added a criteria where they look at the overall health of the operations of the county as one of the things that they look at, even though that debt is just a limited obligation as its own revenue source. So as a result of that, a number of other entities, cities and counties have been downgraded to that underlying general obligation rating. But based on the things that the commission and management has done over the last couple of years, they felt that the county is headed in a good direction, so they did not downgrade us. They affirmed our rating at AA with a stable outlook.
Which is very good news, and it reaffirms what we talked about yesterday in the legislative meeting, that we're being good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars, and that it's rewarded in that AA rating.
Ms. Red, go ahead.
Go, are you finished?
No,
Okay.
I'm not even halfway started good yet. But I'll yield to you and then to you. So when we get ready. John Henry, transfer that to our bankruptcy plan of adjustment and kind of give us because this is something that when we have this public meeting, the type of information that we divulge in that meeting and the financial conditions of the county, we understand that does have a bearing on the bonds or the warrants is exactly what they are. So I need for you to kind of give us an update on that, the financial condition of the sewer system, okay? If we're following the bankruptcy plan of adjustment, and is there any change in the course of action that we need to make? Being the CFO.
Yeah, I think that's a much more detailed question, but what I will say,
it requires a detailed answer.
It does. But what I will say is that when you look at plan of adjustment, when you look at where the county was less than 6 years ago, 5 years ago, we exited bankruptcy December 13th. And we exited that 5-year mark just this past December 13th. And during that process, the county came up with a plan in reference to how the sewer system would operate in reference to projections as far as revenue and expenditures. And what we've seen over the last couple of years, based on decisions that the county has made, as well as operations in our ESD department, revenues have been better than planned, and expenditures have been in line with what we projected. And capital expenditures have also been in line with what we projected. So the overall operations of the system has been better than what was anticipated 5 years ago. As a result of that, as many of you are aware, as a result of that, we were recently upgraded, I think now probably 6 months ago, our sewer debt was upgraded to BBB plus from BBB. And that again was by S&P. So they looked at the plan that we put in place, and that the commission and the departments was following that plan and executing on that plan in a more efficient manner. And as a result of those efficiencies, we actually received an additional upgrade. So now what we're doing going forward based on that is looking at the cash that we do have on hand for the system and forecasting out, can we use that cash in some different purposes? What we mean by that is, can we use that cash to go out and purchase some of the debt that we do have outstanding before that October 1st, 2023 date? As many of you know, the debt is callable October 1st, 2023. It's callable at 105%, and it walks 1% down from there for the next 5 years. But we have to make sure that we're in position, meaning the county is in position to be able to refund that debt ahead of that time, ahead of that October 21st date. So everything that we've done in the past and everything that we are doing, based on what the market is saying, based on what the rating agencies are looking at, is that we are actually headed in a really good direction. We're headed in a strong direction, and I think we just kind of need to keep on that path.
Now,
Especially if we buy down some of that debt.
yeah, and if
Novel
indeed
idea.
we attempt to buy down the debt, it's advantageous to be in a good financial position up to that to make sure the interest rates are lower.
Absolutely.
And we're headed in the right direction. And if we were to change directions now, say, just right off the top of your head, say we gave everybody a decrease in their sewer rates, what would that do to the bond market?
Well, I think that would be,
I put you on the spot, Doug. But we both know the answer, so go ahead and get telling.
Yeah, I think it would be difficult. I think the reason I say that is because we do have a plan, and we are executing on that plan. But I think I think to just it would have to be a well thought out process, if you will, in reference to if we were going to try to make a change. I do think anything ahead of that October 1st, 2023 date in reference to when that debt becomes callable, we have to be very thoughtful and careful in reference to any decisions we make in reference to the operations of the system.
As CFO of Jefferson County, what would you recommend?
I would recommend that we continue the course along the plan that was laid out. And I think we do have a very good plan. We'll address not only the issues of refunding, but also some of the issues in reference to the rates and what ratepayers pay. I think there has been some ideas in reference to some ways to help citizens, and I think all of that is still valid and should be discussed. As far as, because I think the market will look at is what they've done in other systems is looked at, is the government doing the best that it can, one, to execute on its plan, and at the same time ensure that it's helping its citizens.
That and I think what you said is that we'll help any way we can, but we don't want to make any changes to the bankruptcy plan of adjustment.
Yes.
Okay. That being said, it's very important that for the past decade, we have worked very, very diligently to make sure that we're in a sound financial position. and to make sure that our debt service is utilized to go to the benefit of the citizens and not the creditors. And when I say that, the higher the interest rate, the more the creditors receive, and the less money we're able to apply to the citizens of Jefferson County. So it's beneficial for us to do whatever's needed and necessary to keep these interest rates as low as possible and to enhance the economic development, which is done great. I mean, it has really moved. If you see the past year, we just blown out the top of how that's been able to continue. So we're on a good course of action. I look forward to working and to continuing that. And John, I appreciate the report. That was off the cuff, and it was very, very good and very detailed, and it just affirmed what we had discussed on numerous occasions. Commissioner Tyson?
Yes. Will that, with all what you just said, will the citizens' sewer rate go down?
Well, we have the automatic rate increases are still built into the system.
So they won't go down?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and with all what you just said, will we refinance in 2024? Have to refinance?
Yes, we will. We need to in
Okay.
in 2020.
Okay, so we're gonna end up refinancing. Okay, so will the citizens' rates go up in 2024 when we refinance?
We don't know yet. It's not.
What's the possibility of it going up?
Well, I hate to predict that. The reason being is that what we have already built in the system is automatic rate increases of 3.4 every year, 3.49%. Up to that. Those increases were built on a level of debt service. And I think it's the goal of the commission is when we do refund that debt, is to get that debt service as low as possible. And if that debt service is as low as possible, then the automatic rate increases may or may not be needed. But we don't know that until we get to that point.
So it's gonna go all the way up into 2024. You know that. So you don't know when it's gonna go up once we refinance, right? Okay, and the county said they want to do everything they can to help. Is it any way for us to get money out of the general fund to put it in a pot to help citizens pay their sewer bills?
That's a commission decision.
Yes, what I'm saying can we do that?
It is possible.
Okay, so if we can do that, I would like to see if we can do that, since the citizens' sewer bills are just outrageous, President, and we see no relief. And it's relief for the county and the budget. And I totally get that, but are we going to give the citizens any relief? I know our credit rating is good. I know we could probably go out and buy South Carolina somewhere.
The goal, and John won't say it, but the goal is to make sure that all citizens of Jefferson County receive relief as we refund the debt. That's the goal, and the goal is to make sure that we're in a financial position to where our interest rates will be lower and will be attuned to what we need in 2023. Now, your rates have three components, okay? And we've only talked about one component. We've talked about debt service, but you have capital expenditures and operating and maintenance. All three of those are components of your sewer rate, your water rate, and everything that we do. Now, one of the things that people forget in Jefferson County is that most other utilities do a pay-go system. If they need capital improvements, they go out and have a warrant issue, a bond issue, and a rate increase, and they fund it specifically. And it carries out and works that way. Through the bankruptcy plan of adjustment, Jefferson County put all of their capital expenditures, all their operation and maintenance, and all their debt service into the plan of adjustment. And we know that it's secure and safe until 2023, at which time we have the ability, the commission who is seated in 2023 will have the ability to go back and to look and to make the needed and proper adjustments. That's about as simple as we can say that.
So we're not going to be able to get the money and put some money in place to help the
I didn't mention general fund. Now that would be a commission decision that we would need to do during the budgetary process.
Okay.
But understand that general fund has a cap to it. You know, there's X amount of dollars there, and if we put it here, it's going to come out of roads. It's going to come out of something. It's going to come out of general ed. What you're doing, you're reallocating and shifting funds.
Can I ask a question? I know this is my last question. How many commissioners pay sewer, is on sewer? I know I'm on the sewer. You on the sewer? You on the sewer?
I'm not.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's the end of my questions. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, now, let me just,
Yes,
All
you
right,
first.
scales, man.
Okay. Well, yeah.
that's right, you.
Lady in
your
red
heart.
comes before you.
Yeah, they're absolutely right.
Oh,
So
Lord.
what I was about to say is, in theory, this sounds good, but it certainly doesn't sound good if you're on the sewer system. And so when we talk about all of Jefferson County, it's not all of Jefferson County, it's all of those who are on the sewer system.
Thank you.
So my mother is on it. I just happened to buy a piece of property that wasn't on it, and that's only been a few years ago. But at the end of the day, I'm clearly aware that we say it's about the bond rating, but it's also this commission, not as in this body makeup, but it was this commission that also put us in the debt that we're in. So it's a gift back to those who got to pay it. I like John Henry answers, maybe not as coerced. I want to know if we can look at it in the budget, and I don't want it to be a fight with helping citizens to be able to pay a water bill or a sewer bill and ultimately be cut off or have a lien placed on your property. My question would be, since we want to make sure we're in good standing in terms of bond rating, then why don't we make sure that we take care of the citizens who cannot do it and be very intentional this upcoming budget to make sure that since we're in such a good financial standing, that we don't forget those who helped to put us in a good financial setting or standing. And that's something I've been talking to John about since we've been here. And I hope that this commission will be a blessing back to the constituents who are hit the hardest. My concern has always been from day one, we accumulated this debt. No one really understands the rate increases, why they're taking place, which is the reason why, Mr. Metellus, you assigning staff to speak. So since the president said he wants one message, now what Tyson and I say as citizens, that's our business. But when it comes down to this meeting, I do expect for the county attorney to be present, CFO to be present, the lawyers that were involved in the bond swaps to be present, because I think that the citizens, we owe that to them. And I looked at the date too, so that we can be looking at that as a commission this morning, just for the record's sake, is after April 8th will be 25 days from yesterday's date, that we can have a town hall meeting, so we, can explain to the citizens what's going on. But Mr. President, I'm being very honest when I say this. People are not in the mental and emotional state that they once were. And being that the water rates are going up, we know that the sewer rates are going up. If we're not careful, Mr. President, some of the very folk that we're talking about today will make their way to this county courthouse. And it won't be a good encounter. So I think that can be avoided, because at this meeting, We can also talk about that in this upcoming budget, how we will put something in place, not a United Way, but a neutral entity that can be able to assist those who qualify, whether you're a senior citizen or someone who's working and can't afford to pay, but you meet an income requirement, that the county is willing to acknowledge our wrongdoing by at least helping the citizens who can't afford to pay this water bill.
So-
And unless we plan to separate these bills, we do know that if you don't pay the water and the sewer, your service will be disconnected. So we don't have to fool ourselves on that either.
So we're talking about just the residents of the city of Birmingham.
No, I'm saying any person who that is a resident of Jefferson County, if you are on the sewer system, then we need to have that money set aside in the budget specifically to assist those residents. If they meet a certain income requirement, then we should be in a position to at least offset some of the costs. Now, if that includes Birmingham, Bessemer, Brighton, Lipscomb, if you're on the sewer system, then that's who that message and that assistance would be provided for.
Any other thing?
Mr. Henry, when they call the bonds, what does that mean in 2023?
Oh, that means that what we can do is right, currently the bonds have a maturity date of 2053 and 2050, and they start maturing, years before that. What a callable bond means is that it gives us the opportunity, gives the county the opportunity to call those bonds, redeem them, and then issue existing debt in its place. So right now, we have a couple of structures that where we actually don't pay current interest. The interest is accrued and add on the back end of the bond. What this will allow us to do in 2023 is hopefully call those bonds and then make those bonds current fixed rate notes throughout the duration of the life of those instruments. And then I think to the commissioner's point earlier, if that is the case, then that hopefully should lower the county's overall debt service that may or may not make the automatic rate increases necessary. But we just don't know that until we get to the time that it's time to actually call the bonds.
So if we can somehow lower the total debt that will be callable in 2023 through some use of some payments to make that lower, then when you do get to the refinance, then your rates would possibly get lowered.
Possibly. I don't say lower, meaning that if somebody's currently on the system and paying a rate, that rate probably will not be lowered, but the rate of increase will be lowered. Meaning you may not need the automatic increases, which is already built into the system today.
And as when we refund those bonds, will they be,
Better rate.
I'm sorry?
Better rate.
Of course it'd be a better rate, but would they still be under the bankruptcy plan of adjustment, or would that be a different set of bonds?
I believe that would be a different set of bonds.
So there would be
Correct.
no
And so there's
bankruptcy associated with it, and we would be able to do a pay-go on our capital expenditures as we move forward, and the rate increases would be subject to operation and maintenance and debt service.
I believe that's correct.
So you're removing a component in 2023, and when you needed to do capital expenditures, you would deal with those separately.
Yes.
But it'll still take 40 years to pay the debt out.
Oh, sure. You'll never pay the debt off.
So we're gonna still,
So, Mr. President, so then, that being the case, from what I read and understand, I thought, and there seemed to be some uncertainty here today, but I thought that because we were, our rating at the time is the reason why we received the rate that we currently have today. So if that being, all things being equal, if your bond rating is better, or your credit rating is better, then your interest rate on the bond should be better. That's what I'm not hearing today.
That's exactly what we're talking about, but we don't have the ability to do that until 2023.
Okay, but you said about the commission who will be seated in 20, well, hold on, Joe. And so you talking about the folks who will be sitting here in 2023, but I can tell you one thing, if we don't come out with a plan, none of us will be sitting here in 2023. So the bottom line is that's the reason why you need to explain what we're talking about to the public, because it seems to be very insensitive. That's why I say if we go out with the message that we're only concerned about our own bond rating and the financial stability of the county, but we don't have no explanation in terms of how we're going to help the taxpayers who are being punished or penalized for a decision that was made by this commission, as in the body, not this current elected body, but by the commission as a whole. So that's the reason why I'm saying it's so important for us to get our own message out, because otherwise it doesn't make sense. It makes it seem like it's only one-sided and I'm only concerned about one entity, and that entity just happens to be us, the county. But you got to still be concerned about the folk who are downstairs paying tax, who are going to court and they're paying court costs, for folk who are outside of this door we know that have a consumer issue, and what is that? The water bill. So that's the only reason why I'm saying I want to get definites in terms of what we need to do as a plan of action that's going to put us in a place that the public knows what we plan to do, this body, for 2023.
And everything that this county commission does is for the benefit of the citizens of Jefferson County. Every financial decision that we make is from this body. When we talk about the bankruptcy plan of adjustment, we were talking about doing it for the citizens of Jefferson County, for they will have a finite rate moving forward to 2023. And at which time we will, hopefully, we will be able to adjust that and make it better.
So, Mr. President, I'll say...
You say we're insensitive, but we're not.
I didn't say you were. I said that's the way we come across. And I'm telling you, Mr. President, the public that is on the sewer system would respectfully disagree with what you just said. And that's the reason why I'm saying the message has to be communicated not only in what we say and what we do. And the public has to know that there is an attempt to show that we are trying to assist, because everyone doesn't have the affordability to be able to pay a water bill. And I'm telling you that. And even though we know commissions 1 and 2 are hit the hardest, when we speak of all of Jefferson County, relief is not coming to all of Jefferson County, because relief doesn't look like the affected areas, which is mostly districts 1 and 2. That's the only reason why we keep talking about it, because we're concerned about it. We got elected on it, Mr. President. So I'm saying that we have got to show good faith that we're going to help individuals who can't afford it, and that there is a pathway even for those who are a paycheck away from being homeless, that there is going to be some sort of resolution. And when we talk about, oh, of course it's 40 years, we're fine, tell the public it's going to be 40 years. Let them know that, because right now that's not what we communicate. And so nothing like these good gentlemen that they're strong in character and caliber, and they can be able to tell the good public that 40 years is what you got to deal with, and this is our pathway to it. And people will be more amenable if they have an understanding.
And then we
Mr.
try to hit them. We hitting them with too much. We hitting them with gas tax, increase in water and sewer, tax on food, tax on medicine. You know, downsizing the health system for low-income people. It's just so much at one time, and the jobs are being put out so far to where they can't take transit to get to them. So it's just, it's a lot, President, and I know you have a heart for people. You got to tell me that. Just being around you these couple of months, I see that, and I have talked to you. But I just want you to know what my constituents are telling me.
Sure.
You know, that you don't get an opportunity to talk to them. Sometimes I just wonder if I can cut between a house with my car to get away from where I won't constantly, I hear this every day. And I feel they pain because I'm staying out there with them. And that's all we want you to know is just what they are telling us.
Mr. President, I think you have a good heart too.
Thank you.
I do, I really do. But you know what my grandmother said? Love is what love does. So that's the only reason why I want us to get to doing, so they feel the same love that we feel as a commission so intimately with you. We just want to make sure that they know that, and it's not just on you, it's this entire commission, okay? That all of us have the sensitivity that's needed for those who need us the most. They count on us to be their voice. And if we're going to advocate for a gas tax that we believe is going to help us with road improvements and so forth, then we've got to show the people the love. They're not interested in our talking anymore. And I think all of us are good talkers. That's how we got elected. You understand? But I know at the end of the day, they want to know us, how do you show us the love? I think that's probably why I wore red today, you think?
I have a question.
I do too.
All right.
Mr. Henry, Mr. Henry, what happens, we've got BBB plus. What happens if that rating agency lowers our rating?
It just makes it to the point that Commissioner Scales just made. It just makes it difficult makes it harder to refund when we get to that.
Costs more money, Josh.
It costs more.
Say it.
Yeah, exactly.
Puts money in the pockets of creditors out of the use of the substance. Yeah.
So you talked about, you know, taking money out of the general fund, and has there been any kind of analysis done as that exactly what that would mean per? I mean, what's the need and what's the ask? I mean, we can't just throw dollar signs around without actually understanding what it means overall per person. I mean, if you throw $1 million at it and it reduces everybody's sewer rates by $1.99.
It won't reduce sewer rates.
So
what you would do,
not the rate, but their overall cost. And so whether it makes sense at all to do that. I mean, or is it just spitting in the wind?
And the key is to make sure it's non-discriminatory.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's certain things that you have to do, and it's a very detailed discussion that I think we probably would be better served at another time.
You know, 'cause we can go through JCCO.
Yeah.
They pay bills all over
And
Jefferson
we can take care of that later. I appreciate everything, and I enjoyed the discussion. I think that we picked up a lot of good information here today, and much of this, Commissioner Knight and myself are the only two here besides the staff that have lived through this from day one. And it's good that our new commissioners have a better understanding now of where we were and what our vision for the future is. Sheriff has no items. Did we vote on these? We did not vote, did we?
I'll move the minutes, items 1 and 2.
All right. All right, the minutes are moved, 1, 2, second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, Tony, you have anything?
I just want to say, I thought the meeting yesterday with the legislators was a very good meeting, and as a former legislator, it was one of the better meetings I've been to, where you had county commissioners and legislators meeting together. So that was, I thought, very good for all the commissioners and the legislators that participated.
Great turnout.
Good turnout.
Great turnout.
And we need to have more.
Yes.
We really do.
Yes.
I have 2 other items, reports of other business. I have 2 board appointments to the McCalla Fire District.
Move 1 and 2.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Tyson.
Yes, we have Community Development and Human Resource Services Committee, Cooper Green Mercy Health System. Ms. Arnica is here.
Good morning, Commissioner. How are y'all?
Good morning.
We have Cooper Green. We have one item, Air Gas USA, and this is for gases that are used in our therapists and in our primary care and specialty clinics.
I move. Second.
It's been first and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
We have no report for the coroner's office. We have our Department of Community Service and Workforce Development Is Dr. Hamilton here today?
No, we've got
Commissioner, he's-
Yolanda and Darrell.
Okay, Yolanda, Darrell.
Good morning, Commissioner.
You want to?
We have section, item number 1, section 5311, rural area public transportation, authorizing local matching funds. We have item number 2, environmental review for the CDBG administration activity, and that's to administrate the block grant. We have number 3, an award for a construction contract for Triple J Construction on Phase 6 of the Rosedale Sidewalk Improvement Project. And we have item number 4, environmental review for the CDBG Public Service People Development Center.
I move 1 through 4.
I second, but I have a question on number 1. What is that rural area public transportation?
I'm not that familiar with that item.
Thing we'll
That is-
get on
is that the
class
class
train.
train?
That's
Class
class
train.
train.
That'll be related to
Okay.
class train. Right. Okay, that's no question.
Okay, 1 through 4 have been moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's the end of my report.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Save the red, lady in red for last.
Oh, yes, sir. Public Works, Community Service, and Intergovernmental Relations Committee. We have no environmental services report today. We do have 2 grants. One is Magic City Smooth Jazz. If you all are not familiar with this project, which you should be, especially the former or sitting commissioners, because I know that Commissioners Bowman and Brown also contributed to it, and so it was brought to my attention that someone thought it was a festival. Well, I'm not in the festival business, and I'm not in the partying business. What it is that Magic City Smooth Jazz provides cultural arts through jazz, and I'm sponsoring 7 of them throughout our district. And when I was a council member, I supported this 501c3. It did very good in the district. And so we were sponsoring 7, so I know you see the $45,000 amount. That is to cover 7 jazz in the parks. They're held in neighborhood parks, and it's probably only 2 out of the 7 that will not be at a park because there's not a park necessarily associated with that community. Number 2, Silver Gloves. That is for at-risk young men that we are providing not only baseball coaching, but is also providing scholarships. It's a pathway to a scholarship. So we are wanting to do $5,000 for that particular program so that we can have our youth with some activities over the summer. And so that's the nature of this particular grant. And I'm ready to entertain any questions or motions at this time.
On this Silver Gloves, is that a 501c3?
Absolutely.
That's,
Mm-hmm.
that's an interesting, is that the way they spell it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's what makes them a standout amongst the crowd. Yeah, so Brett Oates is a part of this organization. If you're familiar with him, he once worked for ABC 3340.
Move 1 and 2.
We need to make
Second.
adjustments to the backup because you need to take the amount remaining after the requested amount is on the Smooth Jazz is $33.90. You need to take $5,000 off of $33.90 to have the remaining.
Actually,
No, I
that-
think it was got reversed. They took the 5
I was
first
about to say.
and then
Okay.
went to the second. I mean,
All right.
the number just got back. I
Numbering
think
got
it's right.
backwards, okay. Stand correct. I move it or second it.
You're so kind, Mr. President. It has been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That ends my report.
Okay, Tony, I'll give you one more chance.
Oh, hold on, Mr. President. One
No,
last thing
no,
before we
you
conclude the
concluded.
meeting.
You concluded your report.
Well, with
Time.
my goodness,
Time.
you're gonna beat me over the head, you nice gentleman. Okay, I just wanna make sure that we understand that after April 8th at our next meeting, we're gonna move forward with our sewer town hall meeting. And I think that we've had a wonderful discussion this morning. I just think more of the public needs to hear it. And I look forward to bringing a report so you'll know time, date, and place.
We're adjourned.
Thank you.
You said that you want to get